Okay, we are back with Planescape Torment. It's been a while. It's been 5 weeks since I was able to play. I've been abroad with no gaming, but now I hope that we're gonna pick up the pace and blast our way through Planescape Torment and on to more challenges. So let's get going. We're just about to enter Brothel, I believe. So what's going on in here? Some dude and a chick with wings. Fall from grace. Before you is a stunning golden-haired woman, dressed in azure and violet dress, with 2 long elegant wings draped across her shoulders. She is surveying the room with a slight smile. She is easily the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. Okay. Greetings.
Well met, traveler. How may I help you?
She has dialogue. The woman turns as you address her. She takes your measure, then nods slightly. You notice her eyes are azure, the exact same color as her dress. How imaginative. Well met, traveler. She reaches up to brush back a stray lock of golden hair. How may I help you? Who are you?
Updated my journal.
I'm called Fall from Grace. She studies you for a moment. You're new to Sigil, are you not? No, I suspect I've been here for some time, actually. Yes, I am. Does it show? She smiles slightly. Not as much as you might think. You carry yourself quite well. What is this place? This is the Brothel of Slaking intellectual lusts. Interesting. She studies you for a moment. I take it by your question that you did not intend to partake of this establishment. Brothel of Slaking intellectual lusts? What kind of brothel is this? I established this brothel to give those lustful fevers that strike the mind more avenues of expression rather than by the simply carnal. Much pleasure can be had in conversation and engaging in the verbal arts with others. Indeed. Morte sounds dull. I assure you it's not. Tour the brothel, see for yourselves. So, this is a brothel, where there's no intercourse? Only of a psychological nature, rest assured, is still quite stimulating. I have to ask, why did you establish such a place? Fall from Grace raises an eyebrow. That is an odd question. She frowns. I don't think anyone has ever asked me that, at least directly. My apologies, Lady Grace. I didn't mean to be so direct. I was merely curious. Oh, no apologies are necessary. I'm more than happy to discuss the reasons with you, if you wish. I would like to hear them, yes. Part of the answer to your question requires that you know that I am a member of the Society of Sensation, Our faction believes that one should experience as much of the multiverse as possible. And that is why we established this place. This brothel is intended to slake the lusts of even the hardened intellectual. It is designed to stimulate the mind, to heighten one's awareness of themselves and others, to create new ways of experiencing another person. It is for those who seek something more than the shallow physical pleasures that fill the hive and lower wards. I see, so this establishment just encourages intellectual fencing rather than, well, the other kind of fencing. The women here must be special indeed. The women here are aspiring sensates. They have come to me in search of instruction, to prepare themselves to enter the faction. Also, many of them have a natural grasp of language that can shatter the crust of the most hardened individuals. I see, so the ladies here are ladies in training, so to speak. Yes, I hope that by learning the art of language and its subtleties, that the patrons and the students here may learn more about themselves. One is only as limited as their command of language. To be able to employ language to evoke emotions in others is a tremendous skill. I see. Can I ask you some other questions? If I may ask, Lady Grace, the wings on your back, you are not human, I take it? Anna, she's one of the fiends, one of the succubi, she is. She'll take your measure, then she'll take your soul to the lower planes, so she will. See, we're gonna have some lady disputes here. Your companion is correct. I am a lesser Tanari, more specifically, a succubus. She gives a soft sigh. I'm afraid we're a little too common in the lower planes and elsewhere for our own good. Most of my race spend their time seducing mortals with various pleasures of the flesh. And you?
Updated my journal.
I'd like to think that I've distanced myself from that. It is ultimately a trivial and non-productive way for one to spend one's time here in the multiverse. There's much more to life, wouldn't you agree? Perhaps so. Can I ask you some other questions? I came here looking for help, did I? Okay. Help? What kind of help were you looking for? I seem to have lost my memories. In so doing, I lost myself. You've been stricken with amnesia. Fall from grace looks pained. How terrible. Do you have any idea how it happened? Not really. At least not that I can remember. I woke up on a slab in the mortuary, and everything before that is black. I like that. Do you remember how you were stricken with amnesia? Not that I can remember. Okay. You woke in the mortuary? I think the dustman mistook me for being dead, or I was dead, or something. All I know is that I regenerate wounds quickly. I could be immortal, but I don't even know that for sure. Fall from grace seems to be appraising you with renewed interest. Those scars on your body, she reaches out a hand as if to touch you. May I? Sure. Fall from grace drags her finger across your chest lightly, tracing the edges of your scars and following the curves where they blend into some of your tattoos. She seems fascinated. These scars do look as if they would have taken several lifetimes to accumulate. They certainly do, though some are more recent. Folk from Grace steps back. Some of those wounds would have been fatal to a normal man. She taps her chin, thinking. What do you intend to do now? Good question. I need to get my memories back and my life back. I intend to scour the plains and search inside myself until I can piece together who I am and what brought me to this state. Yeah, that sounds good. Fall from Grace is still thinking, her finger tapping on her chin. I must say, I've never met a man who had lost himself in the literal sense. She raises an eyebrow. Forgive me, but your condition is intriguing. Well, I'm glad you think so. It is that? Intriguing? Frightening is more like it. I don't like not knowing who I am, and what I may have done, who my enemies are and who are my friends. I have offended you with my words. Fall from Grace bows her head. I give my apology, if you will have it. Never mind, no harm done. Or apology accepted. Apology accepted. Fall from Grace nods. If it will help, you are welcome to tour the brothel. Several of our students are well versed in the verbal arts. Perhaps some of them will be able to rekindle your memories. Yes, I may do that. Can I ask you some questions
Updated
first?
my journal.
Yeah, can you tell me about the sensates? The sensates are the faction of Sigil that is devoted to experience. Without experience, without sensation, we are blinded too much. We are blinded too much of the multiverse. Thus, sensates seek to experience as much as possible. When all is experienced, then the truth of the multiverse shall reveal itself. Interesting philosophy. Could I join the sensates? She smiles. To join the sensates, one needs only be a student of life. I meant I was interested in joining their faction.
Updated my journal.
Of course, forgive my teasing. Grace nods. If you wish to join the sensates, I would inquire at the Civic Fest Hall. Someone there should be able to help you. I see. Can I ask some other questions? So, I actually took a look at the last episode before I started playing, so I wouldn't forget where I was in the game. I do remember I had some other business at the Civic Fest Hall. Someone sent word for me, I think. Some noblewoman. So maybe we'll go there next. Have you ever heard of a night hag named Rabble? I am familiar with the name. Fall from Grace pauses and thinks for a moment. Rumors cluster thickly about that name, and most tend to discount her as a myth. But I suspect that she did exist, and that she made quite an impression in the cage during her stay here. She looks puzzled. Why do you ask? I intend to seek her out. Grace raises an eyebrow. Truly, I find myself compelled to ask why. I need information that she has. Is this information available from no one else? I suspect that only Rabble possesses the knowledge I need.
Updated my journal.
Grace rests her hand lightly on your arm. Consider this. If Rabble does indeed exist, then she is extremely powerful and cunning. If a fraction of the stories of her activities are true, then she is a creature that has discovered new meanings of evil. The search for her is not a quest to be undertaken lightly. I realize that. Do you know anything else about Ravel? She was said to be one of the hags of the Grey Waste, and that she was believed to possess powers and cunning far beyond those of her sisters. She came to Sigil long ago, and in addition to the evils she committed during her stay, rumor has it that her actions threatened the cage itself. Now she primarily exists only as fiction, a figure in children's stories. Grace pauses. I imagine the Lady of Pain dealt with her as all threats to Sigil are dealt with.
Updated
How?
my journal.
Ravel was most likely sent to a maze, one of the lady's prisons. Mazes? What are those?
Updated my journal.
Grace places her hands together, thumbs and fingers touching, forming a rough circle. The lady is said to have the power to take pieces of sigil. You watch in surprise as a ghostly image of Grace's little finger pulls itself from the hand and floats into the air, curling into a small circle, and make a maze. Go on. Small ghostly circle floats in the air, then begins slowly rotating. The piece of sigil she takes holds the prisoner. There's no escaping being mazed. It can happen at any time, while walking down the street, through a door. She claps her hands. And then you're somewhere else. Inside the ghostly circle you suddenly see a flicker of movement, like someone walking inside. Go on. Grace continues. A tiny ghost maze reflected in her eyes. It is said that there is a portal that leads out of each maze, but they are difficult to find. Perhaps they are left in to give the prisoners hope. Perhaps they are left in to torture the prisoner. The ghostly maze dissolves. Perhaps it is both. I see. Can you tell me more about this plane that Ravel is from? The Grey Waste. Blighted plane that lies effectively between Batur and the Abyss. It is frequently a battleground in the Blood War. I think I lost on thread here. Do you know what happened to Ravel? Mazes... Okay, that's nothing. I think I understand. Is there anyone else who might know more about Ravel? Someone in the fest hall may know more about her. Yes. Okay, can I ask you some other
Updated my journal.
questions? Yes. Would you like to join me on my travels? I see. Maybe she's recruitable, or I think she is, because she has dialogue. Anna stiffens and starts muttering under her breath. Who's to say she'll be coming with us? We don't know what... We don't need the likes of her, so's we don't. Bar that fiendling, Morte clicks his teeth together. I'm all for the succubus coming with us. Powers, no. You're about as fun as passing a coulter up through your bowels. You'd best latch your bonebuck skull or I'll rattle you so hard you'll be picking your teeth off the spire. Fall from Grace. Travel with you? Fall from Grace smiles slightly. She seems to be ignoring her companions. Just like I am. That's rather forward of you. I'd rather be honest with my intentions. You seem extremely pleasant and well versed in the ways of the plains. A companion with that kind of knowledge would be welcome. That's the way I am. You're a sensate, surely there must be a limit to how much you can learn here. Well, I think I have 18 plus intelligence, so I guess I better play the part. Hey, wait just a minute. I'm the one well versed in the planes. That's my job, Chief. Having two people knowledgeable about the planes in our band seems pretty smart to me. Besides, I said pleasant too, Morte. Nice. Pleasant on the eyes, maybe. Look to me like all some chit has to do is show a little skin and you'll sign her right up. Morte falls silent. Not that I mind that, really. I just thought I'd mention it. Noted, Morte. Look, Lady Grace, excuse me if I'm being too forward, but would you like to care to travel with us? I appreciate your candor. I shall counter with some of my own. Why should I travel with you? You mean you wouldn't be interested in traveling with an immortal amnesiac who's searching the plains for himself? Oh, I would be extremely interested. She smiled slightly. Such a suggestion is intriguing. Make no mistake about that. Then you would like to travel with me then. If you wish me to, then there's something you must do for me. There are 10 students in this establishment. I would like you to speak to all of them, then return to me with your thoughts. Then we shall see if we shall travel together or not. Okay, very well. I will go speak to them, then I will return when I've spoken to all of them.
Updated my journal.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, we can recruit two more party members.
Done. All right.
What the hell is that? Oh, okay, now I get it. This is a Modron. This strange cubic creature seems to be as much machine as it is organic. As you approach the thing, it silently stares at you with wide, unblinking eyes. Its face hasn't the slightest trace of emotion on it. Come on, Chief. We're in a building full of some of the sexiest shits this side of the multiverse, and you're stopping to talk to Modrons? What can you tell me about them, Morte? Morte makes a noise of utter disgust. What's there to say? Annoying little clockwork pests. They're always working to impose law and order upon the multiverse. Not good, mind you, just law. Let's just forget about them and go chat up with the ladies, huh? My apologies, Morte, but I'm talking to the Modron. Morte sighs loudly. Fine, whatever. But don't say I didn't warn you. You probably won't get anywhere with them. They're an odd lot to talk to. Modron. Its voice has a metallic, reverberating quality to it, as if it were more a sound played out on some warped musical instrument than true speech. Your greetings is returned. There's a soft click as the creature blinks. An awkward silence hangs in the air between the two of you. I had some questions. Identify yourself to us. It's not important who I am. The opinion of the subject as to importance of its identity is irrelevant. We consider the identity of the subject to be important, thus for all intent and purposes it is important. I'm not sure who I am. We would know why this is so. I don't know myself, I just can't remember. All things should have a name, all things should be identified. We find your answer unsatisfactory, but it shall have to suffice for the present. The creature pauses and blinks at you. We would identify ourselves as Modrons, Quadrone type, winged variant, to the subject. I had some questions. The subject is free to ask a question. What are you doing here? Our purpose here is observation. I see. What are you observing? We are observing one of the establishment's staff. Who are you observing? As previously stated, we are observing one of the establishment's staff. Yes, but who exactly are you observing? The object of our scrutiny is named Dolora. Why are you watching her? We have not been informed as to the specific purpose or purposes which resulted in our being given our present task. The command of our superior Pentadrone is sufficient reason to perform said task. As such, the purpose or purposes are irrelevant to us. I had another question. Yeah, really smart. Asking machines about Brothel. Do you know anything about Ravel Puzzlewell? No. Okay, never mind actually. Dolora. Let's talk to Dolora. This dark-haired, pale-skinned woman has a cultured, refined look about her. As she turns to you, you note that her eyes, which you had previously thought to be grey, are the color of brushed steel. Okay, greetings. The woman's voice is soft, calm, and without inflection. It has a certain far-away quality, as if somehow not attached to her. Greetings, I'm called Dolora. May I serve you somehow? In what ways can you serve me, Dolora? She blinks her eyes, then touches her hand to her heart, bowing her head slightly. I am able to debate any scholarly or academic matter quite proficiently, if that is your wish. I am also well versed in the various games of strategy, should you wish to play something, though I have the materials for a few such games here. I was hoping for something of a more physical nature. No debate, you say? Dolora nods. That is correct. I am neither a tome nor a tutor. I have no desire to educate my patrons. Should you have a matter to discuss, however, the 15 factions and their effect on Sigillian politics, the most effective battle stratagems for warring in the Acheron, the meaning of existence itself, I would be most pleased to choose a counterpoint and engage you in debate. Choose a topic, see if you can best her. You choose a topic and begin. The debate lasts a long time as the two of you exchange points and counterpoints, each attempting to methodically undermine the other's position. As you speak, a strange feeling begins to come over you, a memory trying to surface. Great, allow the memory to surface. Memories of a great hall begin to form in your mind. A vast place full of well-dressed elites. A formal ball was taking place. Before you was a small, impeccably dressed fellow who wore a golden medallion. It was emblazoned with a symbol you dimly recall as the sign of one. The two of you stood in a circle of onlookers who'd gathered to listen to your debate. But that is impossible, the man was saying, looking perplexed. Oh, but it is, you recall yourself replying. I've made several inarguable points and given you a number of examples. You simply don't exist. But you can't. Were I to accept that, I'd... Yes, you'd cease to exist. And without a flash of light or puff of smoke, with no fanfare of any sort, the man was simply gone. The onlookers oohed and awed, some clapped. You remember giving a flourishing bow and walking away, a small, satisfied smile upon your lips. You suddenly realize Delora is watching you closely. Are you feeling well? We might finish our discussion at another time, should you like. No, let's continue the debate. As hard-pressed as you are to beat Delora's infallible sense of logic, you eventually win out. She merely nods in approval. You are a most skilled debater, there's no denying. I do feel, though, that I had time to perform some research. That had I time to perform some research, you might not have bested me. Perhaps, perhaps not. I'd consider that an unfair advantage, though. Delora nods. If you would like, we can debate once more upon the same topic. I could argue your position this time, should you desire it. Wait, are you always so ruthless in a debate? Delora nods. Mistress Grace instructed me to show no mercy for another of her students. Always allows a patron to win after a lengthy debate. It was Mistress Grace's desire that I provide a different sort of experience for the clientele. I see. Could we play a game now? Of course. Is there anything in particular you wish to play? No, I don't really remember any games. Here then, allow me to show you one. Delora brings out a thin lacquered box which unfolds into a small board marked with a grid. The contents of the box prove to be a number of polished stone chips. Half of them black, half of them white. This game goes by many names. Shall I explain the rules to you? One of the names is Ego, or yeah, maybe. Yes, please. Delora explains to you how the rules of the game, how the chips are moved, how one bests one's opponent. It seems somehow faintly familiar to you. The rules are simple, yes, but a great deal of complexity lies within the game itself. It takes a great deal of time to master. Shall we play? Yes, let's. As you play, you come to realize that you've done so before. You recall various ploys and strategies that have won you previous games, and employ every trick you know to beat her. Suddenly a strange feeling comes over you, a memory trying to surface. Yes. More XP. Memories of a smoke-filled field of battle begin to fill your mind. Atop a great hill overlooking the fighting, you sat, mounted upon a massive four-legged beast. The braying of horns carried your orders to the troops below. Even as you watched, your forces divided, fleeing left and right as the foreign army fought its way up the hill to slay the enemy lord. You. The fools, you had thought, lips curling into a wicked smile. My knights shall charge down the hillside and stop their advance in an instant. And at that very moment my retreating footmen will fall in to crush their flanks. Ah, yet another victory soon to be mine. You suddenly realize Delora is watching you intently. Are you feeling well? We might take up the game another day if you so wish. No, let's continue the game. Delora plays excellently, counteracting all but your most crafty moves, but eventually your feints and calculating maneuvers win over her well-crafted strategies. She nods approvingly as she begins to put the game away. You are a fine player, perhaps a master. I commend you for your skill. Thanks, but you always play so mercilessly. Yes. I had some questions. Delora casts her eyes on the floor with a sound that might be a sad sigh. I'm willing to serve you as a patron, but I have no wish to answer other questions at this time. My apologies, but I fear you shall simply have to bear with that for the time being. What's wrong? Anything I can help you with?
Updated my journal.
She looks up from the floor and into your eyes. Once more you're struck by the pale smoothness of skin, the cold depths of her silvery eyes. No, I fear not. My troubles are a matter of the heart. In time, I think, all things shall be resolved. Are you certain there's nothing I could do? Certain? Dolora pauses as if thinking. No, I'm not. My first love, Merryman, possesses still the keys to my heart. So long as he has them, I shan't be free to love another. This is the cause of my melancholy. You're in luck. I can find Merryman for a price. Why don't you seek him out and speak with him? Dolora shakes her head. I may not leave this place. The reasons why are deeply personal, and not to be shared with strangers, even ones who might bestow a kindness upon me. But suffice to say that I cannot seek out Merryman myself. Merryman. Then I'll find this Merryman and speak to him on your behalf.
Updated my journal.
Dolora nods, the slightest hint of a smile appearing on her lips. She bows her head. Were you to find and speak with Merryman, I would be most grateful. He's a member of the Society of Sensation, so you may wish to ask for him at the Civic Festival. What a coincidence. I'll return when I find him. Brothel patron. Let's talk to one of the patrons as well. This dashing nobleman eyes your advance with an air of contempt. I'm here to speak with the ladies, sir, and not to one such as yourself. I certainly hope you hadn't planned on pestering me with questions and the like. I'd advise you to show some respect. In fact, I did have some questions. The nobleman narrows his eyes at you. I do not care, not a whit. Away with you. Go on, leave me be. I'll advise you to show some respect. He closes his eyes and exhales slowly, as if to calm himself. If such an act is required to rid myself of you, then so be it. If you would be so kind, sir, I would most humbly ask that you leave my side and seek conversation elsewhere. Fine. Farewell.
All right.
See? Just need to ask
Done.
politely.
Done. Done.
Uh-huh. As you make the search the armoire, his handles suddenly yank out of your grasp as the drawers slam themselves shut. A disdainful humph issues from the cabinet. Hello? Hello indeed. The armoire gives another humph. So what have we here? A rogue after some lady's frilly undergarments, You talk? Do I? Why, yes I do. Who are you? I'm Louise, and who are you? Thoughtless, uncouth fellow, rummaging about in other people's things. Never mind that. What are you doing here? Well, sir, if you must know, I'm being an armoire. But why are you being an armoire in this brothel? I happen to have become an armoire because I want to be an armoire. Thank you very much. It's not to watch the ladies undressing, nor to have them place their soft, sweet-smelling undergarments in my drawers, where they can rub against my skin. Such accusations are an insult to a practitioner of the magic arts. I'm merely soaking in the experience of what it means to be an armoire. The sights, the smells, the sensations. Uh-huh. So all the women know about this then? Yes, yes they do, and they wholeheartedly approve of, well, not with their entire hearts, exactly. And while they have not spoken of their approval in my presence, since they're not exactly aware that I'm an armoire, I would not want them to know that. I am anything but, and so I have not been able to inquire upon the matter. I'll need something from you to keep quiet about this one. Oh, stupid. Very well, Posh. Open the third drawer, you scalawag. As you reach your hand into the drawer, it slams shut on your fingers with great force. Searing pain races through your hand as you withdraw your battered fingers. Haha, cretin, idiot. Open the drawer, I said, and you reach in. He slams his drawers again for emphasis, and then begins shaking with laughter. I'm going to tell them right now. I'm going to chop you up for kindling. Oh, this is so stupid. First, I would tell you this one thing. I've been popping in and out of the brothel for a good long time. I'm quite knowledgeable regarding both its occupants and their activities. I assure you that talking about me is utterly worthless. Not only will you lose me as a potential source of information, but I'll simply disappear before someone comes to investigate your claims, leaving you looking the fool. Maybe I'll just chop you up for kindling then. You'll do nothing of the sort. Why, even the most common of men knows that one can't commit an act of violence within the brothel. You'll simply be cast out. And even if that were not the case, I assure you my command of the art is quite impressive. I had some questions then. Yes. Can you return to your normal form at will? The armoire seems to think about this for a moment. I've no need to share such secrets with the likes of you, and besides, there is no cause to change back at the present moment, since I have not yet experienced the full sensations of being an armoire. It is a complex thing. To hold and sort soft, frilly clothes, smelling of wondrous woman smells. Drawer slides open and closed, the sound mimicking a pleasant sigh. I had another question. Can you tell me about this place? I would have a man find out for himself rather than tell him the whole of it. After all, that's half the joy of the entire experience. I'll only tell you that which you likely know already. It's called the Brothel of Slaking Intellectual Lusts, and the prostitutes within specialize in the arts of language and communication. Yes, I did know that. Do you know anything about Ravel Puzzlewell? Few folk who dwell in Sigil for any length of time don't. I must wonder, though, what is it about her that you wish to know? I need to find her. You're mad, you know, quite mad. Utterly balmy, I believe. Is the common term for it, yes. Ravel was banished from Sigil long ago, and if she's not dead, you'll wish you were, should you somehow succeed in finding her. She devoured all those who sought her out before, it is said, and will likely do you the same disservice. I would leave well enough alone. And another question. Okay, that's all I wish to know. Seriously. Finham's book, Copper Comments. Finham's book. This is the research journal of a linguist named Finham. Okay. Maybe I can use it for something.
gone.
Juliet. First
Locked.
Ah,
All right.
locked. Actually.
Sure, why not?
Hmm? No, I'm not hitting you. Oh, seriously. Start hitting.
I cannot force this. I cannot force this.
Really. Lockpicking, maybe.
Got it.
Nice. Gold ring. Great. Okay, let's talk to Juliet. This dark-haired young woman is staring listlessly off into space, sighing miserably and occasionally picking at the seams of her green velvet gown. It is difficult to discern whether she is depressed or simply bored. Greetings. She gives you only the briefest of glances before staring off into the distance once more. Greetings, yes. I'm named Juliet. How may I... Oh, never thou mind. Leave me be, please. She gives an exasperated sigh. What's wrong? Oh, nothing at all. Only that I have spent my days gazing into the face of mediocrity, seeing if anything can erase its dreadful, tedious passage. Is your life so tedious? Alas, it is, she sighs, closing her eyes and massaging her temples. Dreadfully boring. Perhaps I could make it less boring for you, my lady. No, this kind of thee to offer, though. I'm already with a man, sir, and I do love him dearly. It's just that I wish, she taps her fingers against her chin, something more of our liaison. Is the relationship lacking, then? The only thing it lacks is excitement, sir. Our families took the news of our courtship splendidly. His siblings love my siblings, and our friends think our union to be blessed by the powers themselves. All fine and good, but things are going, she frowns, so smoothly. It's not right to have such a trouble-free courtship. I don't know about that. Dost thou not? Hast thou ever had such a courtship? She glances briefly at you. It would seem that thy life is filled with a variety of problems, judging by the pallor of thy skin. I can't remember any courtships I've had. The remnants of the ones I have encountered suggest that I may have had some problems. It is just that all my friends have such interesting relationships, once fraught with turmoil, feuding families, daggers at one another's backs, poisons, mad siblings, and irate fathers with large swords. I have a lover whose family loves me and whom the world loves. She sighs again, a great source of annoyance. How I wish I could formulate some way to spice things up. Morte floats close to you, whispering, I feel sorry for a lover. He doesn't know how bad he has it. A chit like this is nothing but trouble. That doesn't sound wise, Juliet. Relish what you have. I wish to experience troubles, though. I wish to experience the ups and downs of courtship. But with him, no other. She sighs. Ah, such a thing is love. It can't be as dull as a club, and is of no use to an aspiring sensate. What did you have in mind to spice things up? I'm not sure. Some element of danger or jealousy. Something intense. Why don't you have an affair? Why don't you make up some fake love letters from a hidden affair? Juliet's eyes brighten. Excellent notion. Most excellent. She suddenly frowns. Bean knows my handwriting. Wilt thou write some for me? Not my sort of thing. I can find you some, though. Really, can I? Oh, wouldst thou? Excellent. When thou dost find some, please give them to my love, Montague. He may be found within the Civic Fest Hall. Yes, of course. As for the letters, please try Scofflaw Pen. He runs a print shop in the lower ward. I thank thee. Of course. Right, so there's a reason for
journal.
the reason for the print shop after all. Okay.
Done.
Vivian, that's someone I don't recognize. That's 2, right? 2 sensates. I'd almost forgotten how much dialogue. This game, 90% dialogue. Okay, so let's get on with it. Vivian. This tall, elegant woman with her sharp features and regal demeanor is a striking example of aristocratic beauty. Her clothes appear to be spun of silver thread, and a small vial dangles from her necklace. She is perfumed with an exotic, erotic scent that seems to draw you towards her. Greetings. She looks you over, arching an eyebrow with what you sense to be disdain. Greetings, my name is Vivian. Am I to presume that I'm being summoned? No, I just had some questions. She nods imperiously. Go on then. What are you doing here? Aside from my work as a student here, I'm looking for something actually. You would not happen to have smelled it, would you? Smelled it? Yes. I have a particular scent that seems to have gone wandering. Okay, this is somewhat difficult to keep in one place. I hope that someone did not take it by accident. Though you never know with the ladies around here. She frowns. So by any chance, have you smelled it somewhere? You smell quite nice right now, you know. She scowls for a moment, then smiles at you. Yes, yes, and I thank you for your compliment, but I assure you, this particular aroma is nothing compared to my personal scent. She sighs. How can a scent go wandering? Vivian shakes her head. I had meant to infer that it had been taken. The ladies here are a bit jealous at times and have been known to take my various perfumes for themselves. This time, though, someone has absconded with my own personal scent. I worked on that scent, perfected it, and now, poof, it's gone. I need not bear such annoyances. Vivian stomps her feet. I want that scent back, and I want it now. How would you know? How would you know it if you found it? You would know it by smell, I assure you. It's quite striking, especially to men. Okay, I can help you. Vivian seems dubious. Are you certain? I do not wish to impose. Oh no, no imposition. I am pleased to help such a lovely woman as yourself.
Updated my journal.
Anna mumbles something angrily. You catch the words piking and idiot stick. Right. Vivian smiles and nods to you. You are too kind. Very well. If you run across it, please let me know. I am somewhat anxious to get it back. A one-of-a-kind scent, really. Do you know anything about Brothel Puzzlewell? Isn't she some historical figure? I can't quite recall. Who is she? A night hag from sigils past, I think.
Updated my journal.
hope she stays in the past then. Night hags are foul creatures, besmirching all femininity everywhere in the plains. She suddenly pauses. You may wish to ask Ives. She knows all sorts of peculiar little tales. Thank you. That's all I wish to know.
Done. I'm gone.
Many 9 eyes. Cute.
Locked. I'm gone.
Handkerchief.
Locked.
Really?
Failed. 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 Failed.
Seriously.
I cannot force this open.
No. Now it's
Alright.
open. Ooh, comments. I need more cash actually, so.
I cannot force your will be done. I cannot force this.
Not working. Not working out.
Right.
Okay, let's try some thieving. Thieving abilities.
Got it. Why not?
Copper earring.
Done.
Nanny Nine Eyes. This petite, attractive young woman is smiling blissfully and humming to herself. Her wide, pale blue eyes seem to constantly drink in her surroundings as she looks about. Greetings. The smiling young woman curtsies gratefully and looks up to you smiling. Well met, good sir. I'm Nanny, and how are you this fine She suddenly notices your scars and places a gloved hand over her mouth. Oh my, you're hurt. She blinks. All over. Morte spins around you, mocking the girl's obviousness. Powers above, Chief. She's right. I never noticed before. You're covered in scars. Thanks, Morte. They're all old scars. I'm fine. She nods quietly, lowering her hand. I had some questions. Huh? She can't seem to tear her eyes from your scars. Oh, how shameful of me. Don't mind my rude staring. I'm named Nanny. She makes a little curtsy. And it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our brothel for the slaking of intellectual lusts. She returns to staring at your body. You have tattoos under those scars too. What's that one? She points to one of your tattoos. That one's looks fascinating. Look at the way the lines of ink. I think that's ink. She squints at the tattoo, then she reaches out to touch it. Allow her to touch you. Don't let her touch it. Allow her to touch you. I think that's ink. She traces a finger around the edge of the tattoo. Is it ink? And what a pattern. Look at the way the lines intersect here. She touches the center of the tattoo. That's simply amazing. She purses her lips and frowns in disappointment. I could make it out better if it weren't so many scars. There's nothing to be done about the scars. They're permanent. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Pox on me for even mentioning them. She cringes. But I have to know, are you absolutely sure you're alright? I'm looking at you and I can't help but believe that you're not in some pain. I have amnesia, but that is all. Amnesia? Then he blinks, then brightens. Loss of memory. You're so lucky, she chimes perkily. Everything must be so new to you. That's an angle I hadn't considered. Nanny claps her hand delightedly. I'm so pleased I could open your mind to that idea. I've heard that that's what being a sensate is all about, bringing new experiences to others. And some questions. What are you doing here? I'm talking to you, silly. She giggles and pokes you in the belly. Pokes me in the belly? Just like I talk to all the patrons here. All the prostitutes do. That's what the brothel's about. Learning new ways to talk and share experiences and understand other people. Yeah. I'm trying to find Vivian's scent. Do you know where it might be? Nanny frowns deeply. Oh, I just can't. I can't say anything bad about anyone. I'm just no good at it. It's not bad to point out a thief, Nanny. Oh, but I don't know if she's a thief. Nanny bites her lips and looks at you with pleading eyes, as if she just wishes you to leave the topic alone. Look, why don't you try and say something not nice about her? Oh, alright. Nanny puts her hands over her hips and frowns deeply, almost exaggeratedly. You resist the temptation to laugh. Ooh, I dislike her very, very much. She pauses for a moment, then looks at you out of the corner of her eye, as if gauging your reaction. Was that convincing? No, not really. Then he frowns. I knew I wouldn't be any good at this. She looks up and down at you, depressed. Do you know how hard it is to say bad things about someone? It feels so wrong. Why don't you practice on me, Nanny? I suppose I could try. She looks dubious. You big, mean, nasty brute. She puts her hands on her hips. Meanie. She looks at you. How was that? Try hitting me. Put more accent on brute. You big, mean, nasty brute. Better. Now hit me. Then he clamps her hands over her mouth, looking shocked. Oh, I couldn't. I mustn't, she blinks. How does one hit somebody anyway? Go ahead, do it lightly if you have to. Remember, I'm a mean, nasty brute. I deserve it. What the hell is this? Nanny slaps you. You barely feel it. She still looks shocked and frightened she heard you. Oh, I'm sorry, did that hurt? Tell me you're okay. Oh, damn! Never have I been hit so hard. Don't break character, Nanny. Come on, show me what you got. You can say something bad, just let it all out. Oh. Nanny draws her tiny frame to its full height, balls her hands into fists, put them on her hips, and scrunches up her face in a cute scowl. Oh, damn be you. You deserve that for all the indignities you put me through. Going out late at night. Your eyes roam up and down your body, getting into fights and getting all scarred up. What are the kids going to think, Kids? Excellent. Oh, don't you excellent me like I'm some backlicker looking for your approval. I'm my own woman, and this woman is about to walk out of your life unless I get some solid commitment. Alright, that's enough out of you, Nanny. Calm down. Time to let go of the anger. Nanny sighs tiredly. You, that was easier than I thought. No kidding. I'm sure I'll do better next time. I'm so excited to have learned something new. Thank you. Sure. I have a question now. Still trying to find Vivian's scent.
Updated my journal.
Maybe. I saw that mean Marissa sneaking out of Vivian's room one night. Now, I'm not saying she took it, but I know Marissa's not a very nice person, and that sure sounds suspicious, huh? I'd go ask her about it. Then he nods at you. Thanks. I'm gonna stop asking everyone about Ravel, I think. No, sorry, that's a great name though, huh? I bet she's a really interesting person. Hey, you should ask Ives about her. Ives collects all kinds of stories, yeah. Yeah, I heard that.
Done. All right.
Echo. Nice. We're just here to move your furniture.
Locked. I'm gone. I'm gone.
Endure.
Get to work, man.
Endure. Opened.
Opened.
Go. This striking young woman has skin the color of burnished copper. A translucent white dress, held precariously by golden clasps, is draped carefully over her shapely form. Greetings. The woman nods and smiles briefly. The scent of her hair, sweetly perfumed, fills your nostrils. I had some questions. She nods. Who are you? She smiles and curtsies but offers no response. Can you speak? She shakes her head and smiles sadly at you.
Updated my journal.
I love this shit already. Can you write them? Or pantomime? Please don't pantomime. She pouts, shaking her head. May I ask why you can't communicate? She sighs softly and nods. Yeah, that's a bit difficult. Actually, let me ask you about something else. Who are you? Have to be able to communicate with her, I think. But how? Who are you? No. That's a problem. What to do?
All right.
Maybe
I'm gone.
we can't do anything.
All right. Done.
What's this?
What's up?
Locked. I cannot force this. I cannot force this. Locked. I cannot. Your path is mine. Locked. Opened. I shall serve.
Gold earring. So why can't we open these containers? Well, let's
Why
see if we...
not? Got it. Got it.
Yeah, we can lockpick them at least. Silver bracelets, more silk handkerchiefs. Sweet.
All right. I'm gone.
Empty room.
Done. All right.
copper, silver earring.
Done.
Yeah? Good as done.
Ah, Marissa.
Done. Done.
Your room is a bit dark, Marissa. Squinting at the figure behind the partition, you can barely make out a shapely female form in the darkness. She turns to you, but you can see nothing of her face. Greetings. The figure answers in a voice that is slow and deadly, like a steel dagger drawn across stone. Yes? Come to speak with Marissa, have you? Quite rude of you to enter a darkened room, storming behind my partition like... so rude and foolhardy. You can hear a faint whispering sound like a slight breeze or the hissing of serpents. Morte whispers quietly. Whoa, creepy shit. Creepy shit. Shit. Yes. My apologies, my lady. I wasn't sure if somebody was here. The woman gives a slight humph. But it would seem there is someone in this room, wouldn't it? Shall you be on your way then? No, not just yet. I have some questions. Ask. Why do you remain behind the screen? Is it your wish that I step away from this partition into some patch of light and speak to you face to face? Marissa laughs, and there is a sound of scales sliding on scales. Nay, I think not. The darkness suits me and doubtless suits you as well. Why is it so dark in here? To prevent any unwanted and embarrassing casualties. Now, what is it that you want? I want you to come into the light. Nay, and the addition of please will not serve to persuade me. Now, what do you want? Surely you did not come all this way to see me. I do want to see what you look like. You have no such want. Oh, I do. What do you look like? The darkness hides us both. Let's make it a game. I'm frightfully bored. Let me guess. Are you a human male? I think so. You think so? How could you not know? I really have no sure idea of what I am. Truly, that's almost interesting. There's a sound of hissing in the darkness. Describe yourself for me. I'm tall, with an athletic build, very handsome. Truth, I'm tall, muscular, and horribly scarred. Indeed. She pauses for a moment. How were you so horribly scarred? Wait, never mind. I do not wish to know. Now describe yourself for me. Marissa describes herself as a shapely, pale-skinned, beautiful woman with a forked tongue, hair made up of writhing asps and glowing eyes, which you assume she must be keeping shut. Are you a fiend?
Updated my journal.
Marissa laughs slightly, the sound accompanied by a slight hissing. No, hardly, though I have powers some might call fiendish. My glance turns living things to stone, for instance. From beings of flesh to statuary with the bat of an eyelash. Living things to stone? Could you turn, say, a limb into a statue? What?
Updated my journal.
I suppose I could, had you a limb, and were I inclined to do so, and I might be so inclined had I my crimson veil, but I do not know where it has gone. Have you seen it, perchance? No. What is it? Is it just a normal veil? Marissa sighs quietly. No, not quite. It aids me in communication. Face-to-face communication, that is. Yeah. Why will I want to turn the Lim into a statue? What can you tell me about the silent prostitute?
Updated my journal.
Yes, Echo. I knew another Echo once, though her name was written differently. I know nothing of this girl though. Ask Delora of her. She's made friends of an old lover of Echo's, I've heard. Okay. What are you doing here? Sitting here with my thoughts, listening to your voice. Listening to you voice yours. The silence of both of them, literal and figurative, is deafening. Nice. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Oh, I think not. You would find them most unflattering at this moment. What is it you want? Just some questions. Just some questions. I want you to turn my Lim into a statue, for no apparent reason. I was told you were seen sneaking away from Vivian's chambers recently. Is that connected with her missing sense somehow?
Updated my journal.
Marissa says nothing, though an angry hissing issues from the darkness around her. Yes, I've been known to creep into Vivian's chambers for some of her perfumes, though I doubt you'll meet another here who hasn't. If you're implying that I've got her personal scent, well, feel free to sniff around. You'll not find it on me or in my chambers, I assure you. Perhaps whoever took my crimson veil took Vivian's scent as well. Maybe. Do you know anything about Rattle Puzzlewell? No, do you? You hear an annoyed sigh from out of the darkness. Go ask Ives. She collects many tales. Yes, I heard that. Not so productive. Not so productive.
Done. All right. All right. I'm gone. I'm gone. All right. All right. All right. Locked.
Really?
Done.
Mm-hmm.
I hear your words. I cannot. Your will be. I cannot force
Seriously.
this.
Come on, guys. Let's check our spellbook. Don't we have any useful spells? What's that? Let's try power 1 actually.
Insert the man's name.
1876, come on. That should be enough.
I cannot force this.
Might as well.
Really? Okay, we can't get into that.
Done.
Whoops. Kimakski Addertongue. That's a nice name. Steal her stuff.
I'm gone. Done. Locked. Failed.
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 Can't force it.
All right.
I will hear you. Your path is mine. I cannot force this.
We can't get
All
into
right.
your little cabinets. Okay, let's talk to Adderton. A wild-looking tiefling girl meets your gaze with an angry scowl. Her tattooed body is practically naked, covered only by a narrow leather thong, a black cloth brassiere, and armored shoulder pads that appear to serve more as a decoration rather than actual protection. Her spiked hair, as well as the thin fur that covers her goat-like legs, is brassy white, and numerous silver rings dangle from her ears, nostril, lips, and brow. She wears a leather collar around her throat with the inscription, Kimakski Adderton. Greetings. Kimakski bares her teeth at you. And just what are you looking at, you banged-up sod? My friend thought you were attractive, but whoa, was he ever horribly mistaken? She sneers at Morte, then looks below him, where the body would normally be. Sharp tongue for a stemless dinner. Let them keep at it. Why not? Morte's pretty good at insulting people. Like I'd let mine anywhere near you if I had one. What? Did you hear the word brothel and think you could make some chink here, you flea-bitten gutter whore? Ha! Can't believe they even let you in the door. What, with all those ticks hopping off your shaggy legs? Ticks? The only annoying insect around here is you. She suddenly turns to you. Hey, you here. You here to talk to me or what? Or what? What else can I do with you? Yeah, I had some questions. The tiefling rolls her eyes. What makes you think I care? Why don't you lick my backside? Well, my tongue's not wide enough. I don't like hair in my mouth. Well, you seem to like the taste of offal in your mouth, you dung-breathed cretin. Only because it's like kissing you, you mangy stinkpot. Kiss me? She makes a retching sound. I'd rather kiss a bloody mass of phlegm than lay my lips on you. No thanks. Ugh. Don't thank me. Thank the power someone actually wants to kiss you. Kimaksk looks at a loss for something to say. For an instant, a smile threatens to crack the grimacing mask of her face. Then she becomes more of a basilisk than ever. Alright, what do you want of me? Questions. Answered. She looks annoyed. Fine, whatever. Ask. Who are you? My name? Uninterested. I can guess yours, though. Scarbunch, get out of here before I put a fire under your arse. Nice. I'll assume it's Kimakski, like it says on the collar, then. What are you doing here? Not you, that's for certain. She smirks at you. I'm contemplating the best way to tell you to pike off next. Say, can you teach Morte here to be more abusive? She raises her eyebrows. Now that's an unusual request. I don't know. It seems pretty foul-mouthed already. He seems pretty foul-mouthed, Kimakski bladderdung, you scruffy goat-gammed harlot. You wish you had legs like mine, you pitiful wretch of a bone box. I can walk, run, dance. What can you do? Bob around, wishing you had a pair, goats or otherwise. The two of them lay into one another, exchanging barbed, blistering insults, and clashing with razor-edged tongues. Wait for it to end. At last the two stop their bickering and eerie silence settles over them as they eye one another hatefully. finally, the tiefling makes a grudging admission to Morte. You're not bad, really. Not bad at all. Better than you, perhaps. Morte waggles his eyebrows at her. Huh? Huh? Kimaski narrows her eyes at Morte. Don't push it, Skull.
New taunts, all right.
Okay. Upgraded his taunting skill. I won't, tiefling. I will admit I might have learned a thing or two. Good thinking, Chief. Sure thing, Morte. So was that all you wanted? I'm not spending any more time near you than I have to. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute? What? That echo chit? I don't know anything about her. Don't talk to the girl. I mean, why? Not like she can talk back. Ask Frigid Delore about her. I think I saw her playing Go with an old crush of Echo's back. Yeah, I told you it was Ego. The old crush of Echo's back from when she could talk. Had another question. I'm trying to find Vivian's scent. Try a hive gutter, or perhaps that's just a similar aroma. To be serious though, Marissa stole it. Marissa, are you sure? No, but I'm hoping you'll go stomping into her room and upset her enough to do something awful to you. I'm trying to find Marissa's crimson veil. Do you know where it might be? She smirks. Ch, up your arse perhaps? Hells, I don't know. Kimoski smooths back her hair, which instantly springs back up into a spiky mess. Yeah.
Done.
Okay.
I'm gone.
Nice. Hives. There we go.
Locked.
I cannot force this.
Come on.
Got it. Might
Nice.
as well.
Love letter. Awesome. This is a passionate, steamy, and rather graphic love letter. Who it's to and whom it's from is, however, are quite vague. Can't I use that? This fetching young woman has a faraway look in her soft sea-green eyes. Greetings. Greetings, I'm Ives, the tail chaser. What a coincidence, I too chase tails. Ives continues unperturbed. Have you come to trade tails? Okay. Ives nods. I would like that very much, yes. Okay. Tell her the story of you waking up in the mortuary. Okay. Ives leans forward as you tell the tale of your awakening in the dustman's mortuary. She seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale. I too will tell a tale of the dustman. Chapters of dust. Go on. There are chapters in the Dead Book, the massive tome which the dustmen keep that records the passing of all that lives into the eternal boundary. In this book, there are chapters that are naught but dust, and it's believed that the names therein are lost souls who cannot die, but must suffer life eternally until history itself dies and grants them release. I have another tale to share with you. Tell her the story of the Alley of Lingering Sighs. Ives leans forward as you tell the tale of the alley giving birth. She seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale, and now I have one for you. Before I begin, I must ask, do you know what a modron is? Yeah, I kinda know. No. Modrons are creatures of total law, almost more machinery than living things. There are many different sorts of modron, but all have their place in a very rigid, carefully organized hierarchy. So dedicated are they to this system that they cannot communicate with or even consider the existence of modrons who are not their immediate superiors or inferiors. I understand now. Then I shall tell you the tale of the clock and the quadrone. Go on. Once upon a time there existed a modron. It was newly created, its logic fresh and untested, and it had come to sigil following the commands of its modron superiors. It knew nothing but commands and dictates of obedience and passing along the orders of its superiors. For you see, modrons are only aware of the commands of their immediate superiors. They have no grasp of a higher authority, until this one. One day it came upon a small shop, within which there was a small clock that could no longer tell time. It was cracked along the edges, the wheels of its hands broken. The modron immediately set itself to work at getting the parts to fix the broken clock. It made a new wooden housing for the clock's parts, replaced the bent springs, carefully filed and oiled the clockwork machinery, and carved new hands from the sparse metal available to it. The newly repaired clock's precise ticking reminded it of the great gears of Mechanus, and it comforted as much as anything may comfort a modron. And what the modron never came to understand was that it truly loved this clock that it had worked on, and for reasons it could not explain, elected to remain in sigil and be with the clock for the rest of its years. Okay. I have another tale to share with you. I don't have another tale to share with you. Ask one of your companions if they have a story to tell. Mortes, do you have a story to trade? Me? Why do I have to tell a story? Just tell a story, Morte. Fine, fine. An elderly man was sitting alone on a dark path, right? He wasn't certain of which direction to go. He'd forgotten both where he was traveling to and who he was. He'd sat down for a moment to rest his weary legs, and suddenly looked up to see an elderly woman before him. She grinned toothlessly, and with a cackle spoke. Now your third wish. What will it be? Interesting. Go on, Morte. Third wish? The man was baffled. How can it be a third wish if I haven't had a first and a second wish? You had 2 wishes already, the hag said, but your second wish was for me to return everything to the way it was before you had made your first wish. That's why you remember nothing, because everything is the way it was before you made any wishes. She cackled at the poor Burke. So it is that you have 1 wish left. Alright, said the man. I don't believe this, but there's no harm in wishing. I wish to know who I am. Funny, said the old woman as she granted his wish and disappeared forever. That was your first wish. I've smiles. An interesting tale, Morte. And now I won for you and your companions. The Fiend's game. Go on. A fiend sometimes wandered in the wilderness of a certain prime world in the guise of a friendly old man. One day he came upon some hunters in the wood. What are you doing? The fiend asked. The hunters told him, and the fiend nodded. I've never been on a hunt before. The hunters invited the old man to come along, and the group eventually came upon a glade where several deer were grazing. The hunters carried crossbows, but did not fire, and the fiend asked them why. They are unarmed, the hunters chuckled, patting their crossbows. We hunt nothing that does not have the ability to defend itself. After all, where's the sport in that? The fiend nodded at this, and promptly gated in 3 of his fellows. The hunters led them on a merry chase, but eventually they were caught and eaten. Okay. Anna, do you have a story to trade? Hey, I'm not good at telling such things, I'm not. She frowns and waves her hands as if trying to shoo away the idea. Don't be asking me for such nonsense now. I smiles at Anna. But I would very much like to hear your story. Please share your story, Anna. Come on already, fiendling. You already have one tail. You won't part with? Yeah. Nice. Anna looks uncomfortable, her tail lashing slowly back and forth. Well, I know one story. She suddenly becomes angry, glaring at Ives. But you might not like it, you won't. So don't be blaming me for your choking it out of me. Right. Go ahead, Anna. Anna scowls and finally relents with an exasperated sigh. I heard a story when I was a wee lass. This Burke's walking home real late near Anti-Peak and passes an old toothless crone in a dark and otherwise empty street. Where are you going? She asks him. Go on, Anna. Home to me wife and Kip, he says. Near the slags, she asks him. Sure enough, he says. So she asks him a favor. To take a box she's got to Deader's Pit and give it to the woman there. Now this Burke's a real sap, too nice to say no despite the fact that he's sure something's not quite right about this old crone, and agrees. What's the woman's name, he asks. Where does she live? Where should I look for her, and if she's not by Deader's Pit? The woman hands him the box, a wooden thing, wrapped in colored cloth, and tells him to just go and she'll be there. Finally she warns him, whatever you do not open the box. So he takes it home with him and hides it in the rafters, thinking he'll bring it by Deader's Pit when it's lights out. His wife, though, seeing him hiding the box, gets right jealous, thinking it's a gift for a lover or something, and opens it up as soon as he's not looking. Well, turns out the box was full of gouged out eyes and severed male members, with hair still on them. Her scream brought the Burke running. You remember what the crone said, got right scared and wrapped the box back up. He went out straight away to Deader's Pit, and sure enough, there was another old hag waiting there for him. He hands her the box, and she says to him, "This box has been opened and looked into." The poor Burke tries to deny it, but she gets this dreadful look on her face. "You've done something horrible," she tells him, then disappears. That done, he hurries back to his Kip. He's feeling ill when he gets back and takes to bed. His wife bitterly regretted opening the box and all, but it was too late. The next day he died of a rotting disease, and the first thing to go was his eyes and stem. Anna nods grimly, her tale complete. Ives smiles. That was a wonderful tale, Anna. You should never hesitate to share it. Now I one for you and your companion, the parched land. Once a large village was struck by a terrible drought. A farmer journeyed to the worshipping stone, and again implored it as to the cause of the drought. He asked the stone why it did nothing when the fields were parched and dying, why the animals and the people suffered while the stone did not a thing. Have we not given enough offerings? The farmer asked, begging almost upon his hands and knees. But the stone did not respond. He merely sat and cast its shadow. I have another tale to share with you. Dakon. Do you have a story to trade? Dakon nods solemnly. I shall impart the tale of Ak-Ali's drowning. Dakon tells the story of Ak-Ali, a foolish Githzerai of myth who had become lost in the chaos of limbo. Normally, a single Githzerai may use their focus and mental discipline to form the chaos around them into a small, habitable environment. Ak-Ali, however, asked so many useless and unfocused questions in her quest to return home that her isle of matter dissolved around her and she drowned. Ive smiles. Fascinating, Dakon. Let me share with you and your companions another version of your tale that I have heard. Dakon looks attentive, perhaps a little surprised. Go on, Ives. Ives goes on to tell a different version of Dakon's tale in which Ak-Ali was driven from the Githzerai city of Shrak-Talor for her constant useless prattling. One day she encountered a Sladi on her way to the spawning stone. She hastily erected a wall of chaos matter, which even the ravenous Sladi found difficult to break down. Hungrily, it waited and spoke to her through the wall. She asked it questions, and as she became more absorbed in her pointless queries and the Sladi's answers, her own wall decayed and collapsed upon her, and thus she drowned in the matter of limbo. I think that's all the stories I have. Why are you called a tail chaser? Once upon a time, a girl came to an oracle who was rumored to know many things and asked of it a boon. Her life was in need of direction, so she asked this oracle as to what would give her life purpose. Now, the oracle was not evil, but it was vague and tended towards drink, which caused it to be obscure in many matters of judgment and focus. Its only answer to the girl's question was that within one story that she would hear in her lifetime was the truth that she sought. The girl went off and collected stories, which she chases to this day, not knowing which of the thousands holds the truth. Such is the danger of a foolish question and the wisdom of an unspoken one. What are you doing here? Yeah, I kinda knew that. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute? Asked Delora. Okay. I'm trying to find Vivian's scent.
Updated my journal.
Ives shakes her head. Speak with Nenny. She's forever pacing about, observing everything intently. Never talk to her. Ives shakes her head. But Marissa's an interesting tale. Will you hear it? Yes, go ahead. Not right now. Oops. Sorry. Once upon a time in a world of heroes and a time of petty, childish gods, there were three sisters, cursed with a hideous appearance. They were considered demons by the people of the land and forever shunned. One missed her sisters terribly, yet left that world with its shame behind, but exchanged the pettiness of a pantheon for the pettiness of self. Yeah, the Gorgons. Do you know anything about Ravel Puzzlewell? The tale of Ravel Puzzlewell, frightener of children, begins and ends with a question. What can change the nature of a man? That is an interesting question. Go on. Many were the times she posed this riddle to those who approached her. Those who sought to glean from her the strange magics that she alone seemed to possess. All attempted to answer her query, but to no avail. And they found the price of their wrong answers to be some horrible fate, always more terrible than the last victims. To recount their various torments would be to speak of things that nightmares are woven from. Go on. The tale strikes me in this way. Ravel herself knew not the answer to this question, but she lusted for such an answer. Only the why of the matter remained in question. Why did the nature of a man matter to one of the Grey Sisters, especially to one of such power as Ravel? See, it is said that she put the question to the Lady of Pain, not directly, but shouted it to Sigil itself, daring for the lady to answer. When no reply was forthcoming, she wove terrible magics that threatened to open the cage and let the fury of the plains roll in like a wave. She received no answer other than banishment. To this day, no one knows the answer to Ravel's question, and now there is no one to petition, for Ravel herself is gone, lost to the plains.
Updated my journal.
Wait, there's more. Though my tale ends with Ravel's demise, there are others that claim that the hag still lives. There is a silent prostitute here who once talked of such things, but she speaks no longer. If she would speak to you, she might tell you more of Ravel, yes. Interesting.
All right.
It's Vivian, that's Delora. Kesai
All right.
Ceres, I haven't talked to her.
All right.
Let's talk to Delora about
All right.
Did you find him? Has he agreed to return the keys to my heart? No, not yet. Ah, damn, I have to fix that first. Okay, let's talk to Kesai Ceres. This alarmingly voluptuous woman has a thick mane of wavy, raven-colored hair, bluish skin, and shimmering crimson eyes, like rubies, which have fires lit behind them. Though she is not beautiful in the typical sense of the word, her features are exotic and not altogether unattractive. Greetings. The woman's voice is deep and sensuous. And my greetings to you, sir. Her burning eyes roam over you. I'm Kesai Ceres. So tell me, what might I do for you, Anything, Morte cries. Do anything you want to me. Kesai laughs heartily, revealing canines long enough to be considered fangs. She shakes her head and smiles at Morte. Truly, though, please, what can I do for you? Well, what do you usually do for patrons? Talk, of course, usually about dreams. Often those erotic in nature, but not always. Kesai winks at you, smiling. So, would you like to tell me yours? Don't be shy, I've heard everything you know. Nothing will shock or surprise me, and I so love to hear people's dreams. We can trade if you'd like to, but you must go first. My dreams were recently revised when I saw you, my lady. I don't have dreams, actually. Kesai arches her eyebrows in surprise. Truly? How sad. Even fiends and divas have dreams, you know. Are you certain you don't? Quite certain. No dreams at all. Too peculiar. I'm at a loss at what to say. If you don't mind my asking, what are you? Kesai shakes her head. What? Can't you tell? She draws herself up, thrusting her ample bosom towards you. A woman? She raises an eyebrow. I can see my answers doesn't please you. I'm plain touched, actually, like your friend here. Kesai indicates Anna. That's all you need to know. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute? Yes, that's Echo. She's very sweet but so quiet. I understand that she said something once which caused some great tragedy, and because of that she'll never speak again. Interesting enough story, but I don't know if it's true. Try asking Delora. Unfortunately, we have to wait.
Updated my journal.
Trying to find the Crimson Veil. No, I haven't seen it since the last time she wore it out, but Nanny might have seen something, so try asking her. I'll admit it's been nice. Marissa won't leave her chamber without the veil. And so we've all been spared her foul tongue, leaving us only Kimaski to deal with. Kisai smirks. That Kimaski is the worst of the two, though. How so? Marissa's haughty and mean, but Kimaski, she's bitter and she's a bitter, spiteful monster of a woman, with a venomous tongue and the demeanor of a Baylor. I can't see why anyone would like to speak with her. I sincerely doubt her appearance makes up for that flaying, poisonous mouth of hers. She receives patrons nonetheless. I'm trying to find Vivian's scent. No, I don't. Kisai frowns. Most of the women will say she's prissy, but she's always been nice enough to me, complimenting me on my eyes, and she smells so good. I hope she finds her own scent again. Try asking Nanny about it. She's everywhere. Yeah, you do have very lovely eyes, you know. Tch, Anna sneers, rolling her eyes. Idiot. Anna, please, it's only a compliment. Anna stares at you coldly but says nothing. Kisai shrugs and looks back to you. Why thank you. You can see them glowing in the dark, you know. Bizarre, no? She pauses to look at you. You have some nice eyes too. So dark and mysterious, so full of character. Thanks, Kisai. I had another question. I spoke at the 9 prostitutes altogether. Do you know who or where the 10th student is? The 10th? Kisai purses her lips, tapping her foot as she thinks. No, there's only 9 of us. There's always 9 prostitutes. Unless Mistress Grace has made some recent changes I don't know about. Okay. Do you know anything about Ravel Puzzlewell? No, nothing. Are you sure? You seem suddenly upset. She narrows her red eyes at you. Of course. Of course I'm sure. Don't ask me for her again. Farewell then. Okay.
I'm gone. All right.
It would be a lot better if
All right.
everyone didn't walk around all the time. It would be a lot easier to find.
Done.
That's Nanny, right? No, that's Vivian.
All right.
There's Nanny. I had some questions. I'm trying to find Marissa's Crimson Veil. Do you know where it might be?
Updated my journal.
Bet I do. I saw that nasty Kimaski Addertongue sneaking out of Marissa's room one night. They're both meanies, you know. But Kimaski is really awful. Anyway, I talked to her first. Thanks. Okay.
I'm
stop
gone.
Closing the doors. Talk to her. Oh, it's you again. Just can't get enough of me, huh? I was told you were seen sneaking away from Marissa's chambers recently. Is that connected with her missing veil somehow? She flies into a rage. Who told you that? She suddenly falls silent, glaring at you through narrowed eyes. If I was there, Burke, I didn't take your filthy veil. Search my room if you like. I catch you sniffing at my breeches, though. I'll see to it that you're never allowed in here again. Why would anyone ever sniff at your breeches?
Updated my journal.
Beats me. Someone's nicked more than a few pair of them, though. Favorite leather brassiere too, with the iron studs. She humps angrily. Do you know who or where the 10th student is? Yes, she's hiding under my bed. Go ahead, get down on all fours and check. I shan't kick you. Really? Get down on your hands and knees and check. As you look beneath Ganaxi's bed, nothing's there, of course. You become aware of her standing behind you. I couldn't, it's just too easy. Get up, you poor stupid debtor. There is no 10th student. That's all I wish to know. Yeah, I figured as much.
All right.
Let's ask Armoire.
I'm gone.
This is Louis, the talking Armoire. Yes, I have some questions to you. I'm trying to find Vivian's scent. Do you know where it might be? Oh dear, yes. I had heard about that. Most unfortunate. Did you ever have the exquisite pleasure of breathing in that scent of hers? Armoire's drawers seemed to shudder with delight. Absolutely wondrous. But sadly, no. I know not where good Lady Vivian's scent might be found. I'm trying to find Marissa's crimson veil. I heard she used to walk about in a crimson veil, but that she had recently taken to her room and darkened it. I did not know what had occurred. So this veil of hers is missing then? Yes. There is no 10th student. Forget it, Louis.
Done. All right.
Well, I talked to everyone. Let's talk to Fall from
How may I
Grace.
help you?
I have some questions. I spoke to 9 of the students, as you asked, but I could not find the 10th. And you could not find the 10th student, how curious. I think Louis is the 10th student in his own way. I'm thinking the 10th student is me, in which case I've spoken to all of them. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not a sensate, but I'm thinking the 10th student is me. I don't think an armoire is a proper sensate. Very well, and your thoughts? You should get rid of all the armoires in the brothel and use them as firewood. That's that's what I learned today. I've learned that it's what it means to be means to aspire to be a sensate, and that it's better to go in search of experience rather than to have it come to you. I'm really, really adamant of trying to get her into the party. I don't know. I've learned what it means to aspire to be a sensate. Yeah. Fall from Grace nods. Very well, I will travel with you if you still desire my company. I do, I guess. One more.
In knowing the teachings of
Oh, Mistress
Zerthamon,
High and
I
Mighty will
have
be
become
joining
stronger.
us. What do we need her for?
You couldn't possibly understand.
I wish she would fall from great height. I might even bump her off myself.
I see. Fall from grace. What? What is she doing? She's healing my party. Okay, thanks, I guess.
Yes?
Fall from Grace's diary. Fall from Grace's touch. Weapon. Chastity bow dice. Nice. Made from the tanned hide of some creature. Despite its prim and proper appearance, it does little to detract from Grace's sensuality. Yes. The Bodis possesses no known powers other than some minor enchantments that prevent it from becoming dirty and repairs minor tears in the fabric. Fall from Grace's earrings. +1 to all saving throws, +5% resistance to magic, usable only by females. Okay. They look really good on her. This book looks like it's made from paper-thin silver sheets. The engraving of a woman is on the cover of the text. There is a small lock on the side of the book. No matter how you try, the lock resists your attempts to open it. Use it. Okay. Interesting. Let's see her stats. Level 7 priest. Wow, a lot of resistances. Sunset faction. Lawful neutral. So what does she have? Does she have any spells? Priest scroll. Blessing. +1 to hit and +1 to save to all friendly creatures in a 50-foot radius. 30 seconds. Duration. Cure light wounds. 8 hit points. That's crappy. Protection from evil. -2 penalty to attack rolls by evil creatures. +2 bonus to all saving throws. Halo of Lesser Revelation. +2 penalty to armor class for all affected creatures. No saving throw for this spell. That could actually be useful. Curse. Aid. Cure moderate wounds. Spiritual hammer. 11 hit points of damage. Still not much. Prayer. So we have some support spells here. And some attack spells actually. Call lightning. Remove curse. Cure serious wounds. Still only 17 hit points. Okay. Well, got a healer in our party. That's something.
Done.
Actually, let's talk to her.
Yes?
Can you tell me about the Tanari? The Tanari are fiends. Some call them demons. They have embraced evil for chaos' sake. They dwell upon the poison plains of the abyss where they feed on their own rage and lash out across the multiverse, spoiling all they touch. They forever seek to tempt others into committing crimes of passion and vice. And you are a Tanari? That is correct. I'm a lesser Tanari. More specifically, a succubus. She gives a soft sigh. I'm afraid we're a little too common and yeah, I read that.
Yes?
Okay. How did you come by the name? Fall from grace. The meaning of names is a complicated subject. There is much to be said and a great deal that is better left unsaid. Is Fall from Grace your real name? Perhaps. She smiled slightly. Perhaps not. There are names which are given and names which are earned. Who is to say which is the real one? I'm not sure I attach any value to a name. I think the name which is earned carries the greater weight. That may be so. Why do you think that? Because a name that is earned is not arbitrary. A name that is earned tells of what you've accomplished. Grace nods. Your point is well taken. So why are you called Fall from Grace? Would it matter? She smiles. It is an earned name. It matters to me. I would like to know how you came to be called that. I have fallen from my people. Some would say risen from my people, perhaps, but fall feels more right to me. She looks at you questioningly. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. After all, fall carries with it an underlying sense of loss. Fall from Grace is silent for a moment, then nods thoughtfully. Yes, perhaps that is why it felt as it did. I came to terms with the loss long ago, but the name has remained. Are you sure you come to terms with it? Fall from Grace meets your gaze and you are once again struck by the brilliant shade of blue of her eyes. It is turbulent, like the ocean before a storm. I had thought so, yes. Yet in speaking to you, you have caused me to realize some things, she smiles. You have my thanks. Well, if you want to talk about it, let me know, right? You're most kind. I will do so.
Yes?
Can you teach me anything of the art, Grace? Fall from Grace shakes her head slightly. No, I do not believe so. The art and the disciplines I practice are different. What do you mean? My powers, as you see them, stem from my faith, not from manipulating energies as the art does. The art is a mechanism by which the power of the multiverse may be harnessed through gestures, rituals, and devices. My powers come to me through different means. My faith and the nature of my belief allows some of the multiverse to reveal itself to me. The nature of your belief. What do you believe in? I believe in experience. I believe a person may be changed for the better. The more of the multiverse they are allowed to perceive, and the more of the multiverse is allowed to perceive them. My belief in the nature of experience allows me to... She pauses for a moment, thinking. I suppose the best explanation is that my faith allows me to see things differently. When you see the multiverse in such a way, you learn how to change things, mending wounds, seeing a person's heart, and so on, just by willing them to happen. But those changes you make seem a lot like spells. How do you learn to do those things? Do you have a spell book? No, my spells, as you call them, they come to me after I've rested and centered myself. When I sleep and awaken, I can focus myself once more. The amount of faith required to change the multiverse around me can be quite taxing on the psyche, I'm afraid. Just being able to see how to change things is not enough. You must have the strength to make the change happen and last.
Yes?
Yeah, can you teach me? Yeah, I already read that. Can you teach me to see the things the way you do? I cannot teach you to see the multiverse in such a way. One must learn to see it, and in their own way, not through the eyes of another. She smiles slightly. I do not think you, of all people, need my guidance in such a matter. I find myself learning much more from you than you from I.
Yes?
Okay. I wanted to talk about our companions. Who in particular did you wish to discuss? Me, actually. What did you wish to discuss? To be honest, I'm curious as to your feelings about me. When did this game suddenly become like a dating simulator? No, I'd like to know your thoughts on my situation. Do you know anything else that might prove helpful? Shadows keep coming to kill me. I have a feeling they're following me, but I don't know why. Well, I think there's someone out to murder me, so much so I built a tomb trap to try and kill them. According to an inscription in the tomb, he's been coming after me for, well, as long as my incarnations can remember, it seems. Then, whoever the killer is, he's lived a very long time to have pursued you so long. She taps her chin for a moment. Could the killer be immortal as well? Possibly. I'd like to know any other thoughts you have on my situation. Shadows keep coming to kill me. Shadows. Fall from Grace is silent for a moment. Shadows are shades of the dead. They do not tend to hunt. They tend to lie in wait for victims. Curious.
Yes?
Other questions. Do you have any idea who or what I might be? Grace frowns in thought. I freely admit that you are something of an enigma, she smiles. But I find such mysteries intriguing. Shall we attempt to puzzle out your situation? Yes, let's do that. First, while it is possible that you are a tiefling or some rare crossbreed, my guess is that you are human, or were at one time. Right. Your appearance is approximately a male in his early 30s. The stitching and scar tissue make an exact determination difficult. The key to your past is your memory, and it seems that certain locations, events and people trigger seemingly forgotten memories. It would seem to be in your best interest to visit as many locations as possible and speak to as many others as possible. In short, experience your universe as much as possible. Sensate advice. Sensate's advice, eh? Fall from grace gives a bemused smile. I would not advise it if I did not practice it, and if you did not already know it to be true. Maybe something else that would shed light on my situation. No.
Yes?
Actually, there may not be. Who do you wish to discuss? You? Me? Really? She thinks about this for a moment and then nods. Very well. If there's anything you are curious about, then please ask. No, actually I want to talk about someone else. Morte. Morte is most peculiar. I have seen a great deal in my life, but nothing quite like him. He behaves somewhat like a mimer. Granted, there's no denying he is knowledgeable, but he has a certain, she sniffs the air, wrinkles her nose, Batorian smell about him. Batorian smell? Yes, but it's not a Batizu, at least not any variant I've encountered. The smell alone, however, makes me treat the skull with caution. What do you mean when you say Batizu and Batorian? My apologies. Baator is one of the outer planes, home of a race of fiends called the Batizu. They are evil creatures, yet they are organized and lawful in many of their behaviors. Some might call them devils. They believe in contracts and hierarchy. In many ways they are like evil bureaucrats. What were you saying about the mimer before? Mimers are encyclopedias of knowledge. The owner may ask them questions, and if they possess the knowledge, they will inform the user of what it knows. And Morte is a mimer? I don't believe so. Morte lacks the silvery metal that mimers customarily have. He seems to have an attitude of his own. Such qualities are not present in conventional mimers. Grace shrugs slightly. He may be one, but he's unlike any I've encountered. Morte told me he's a mimer. Did he? Most curious. Very well then. But I don't think I believe him. Perhaps there is some test to verify his authenticity, but I would not do one if you value him as a friend. If you do, then you must accept what he has told you. Yes. Don't trust a skull. Talk about Anna. She's strong and capable, and she's quite passionate. I almost wish I had met her long ago and asked her to come to the brothel. Perhaps things might have been different. Grace studies you for a moment. What do you think of her? I think she doesn't care for you very much. I would agree, Grace smiles. But I shall not let you dodge my question so easily. What do you think of her? I think I could fall in love with her. I consider her a friend. Nothing more. Very well. As soon as it's a woman, it's only relation talk, like nothing else about her. Interesting. Let's talk about Dakon. Dakon? Grace raises an eyebrow. He's most uncommon for a Gitzerai. Really? In what way? Well, he obeys you. That alone would mark him as a pariah among his people. His entire race were once slaves, and even the reminder of servitude to them is distasteful. Anything else? Dakon approaches everything in an orderly fashion, again most curious for a Gitzerai. They tend to be unpredictable. They follow their impulses rather than plan. He seems a most pious Gitzerai and a steadfast ally. That he is. Okay,
Yes.
let's see. Is there anything else? Do you ever use weapons? No, there is seldom the need, and I find that I cannot bear the touch of cold iron or even steel for long periods of time. In any event, I have a number of natural defenses that tend to discourage attackers, such
Updated
as...
my journal.
The kiss of a succubus is lethal to mortals, though they rarely realize the danger until their death is almost upon them. Fall from Grace's size, I can resort to it when the need arises. Intriguing, I mean frightening. Can I read your diary? No. Please? Grace gives a slight smile. A lady must have her secrets. Very well then.
Yes?
I had some questions about our travels. Okay, I don't have any more questions. I want to talk to Morte about...
Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
You said you were a mimer, right, Morte? Yeah, a mimer's a floating encyclopedia. You put information in, you get information out. But aren't mimers made of a silvery metal? So, maybe some are, but I'm not, and there's stranger things on the plains than that, Chief. I don't think you're a mimer, Morte. What are you? What's with interrogation? What do you know about mimers anyway? I know enough to think that you're lying to me. First that bit about the missing line from my back saying not to trust you, then this. What am I supposed to think? Okay, I'm not a mimer, but I know a lot of stuff, so I might as well be one. What are you then? I'm a floating skull who knows a lot. What about that Praetorian smell you have? What would you know about what Baitor smells like? Unless... Hey, you've been talking about me with that Tenaria, haven't you? What does she know? She obviously touched on something. That is a Batorian smell, right? Well, yeah, but well, yeah. So I smell a little... Excuse me. So I smell a little... Excuse me. Why do you smell like Baitor? I was in the Hells for a while. Kind of a long while. The stench kind of grows on you. You were in the Hells? What were you doing there? Wow. Here we go. See, well, there's this pillar on Avernus. The first layer of Batur. It's called the Pillar of Skulls. But it's more like the Pillar of Heads. To hear some bashers tell it's supposedly made of the heads of Berks, mostly sages and scholars who used their knowing of this and knowing of that, when they were alive to stretch the truth a little. So much they might have hurt or killed someone by doing it. Well, when I died, I ended up there. Funny, huh? Not really. Morte goes silent for a moment. Yeah, you're right. It's not funny at all. You see, I think I knew a lot of things when I was alive, and maybe when I did know something, I didn't always tell the truth about it. I'm thinking that when I bent the truth once or twice, I may have led to someone getting penned in the dead book sooner than they ought to have. Can you remember who? It was me, wasn't it? Morte looks at you for a moment. Yeah, I can't say how I know it, Chief, but I think so. I think you were the one that got me sent there. The last twig in the bundle before the whole load snaps. Thing is, I can't remember what happened. I don't even remember being human or what my life was even like before I woke up on the pillar. Why didn't you forget? That's pretty much the way of things when you die, as I'm sure you're no stranger to. You just forget. I figure I wasn't a sterling member of the community when I was alive, but hells, who is? Morte sighs. It's just that I can't help it. Nothing's worse than being honest all the time. Except being sentenced to the hells. That sounds a lot worse than telling the truth. Yeah, you're right. Again, Morte clicks his teeth. The way he does it reminds you of someone drumming their fingers. I guess just all that good and evil and lying and cheating catches up with you, and when I got penned in the dead book, it was my turn to pay the ferryman. So how did you escape the pillar?
Updated my journal.
Well, you helped me, Chief. When you showed up at the Pillar of Skulls, I pushed my way to the front. My obvious know-how and the charm attracted your attention. You knew that I was the head that knew the most, so I cut a deal with you. Deal? Oh, what's happening? As Morte speaks, your vision seems to bleed into a fiery red, and you hear a howling, a horrible screaming tower of voices, chittering, screeching, hammering, all of them begging, screaming to be freed. And Morte's voice, faint, almost lost in the horde, he sounds desperate, frightened, and pathetically, tragically lost. Echo, you, Skull, speak. The howling voices fall silent, and you watch the tiny red-lined skull, its cracked features cast in a hellish light, turn its eyes up at you. Blood and ichor has streamed across its features, and its teeth chatter as if cold. I can help you. I know what you seek. All these heads, all are knowing. Just please, I beg you, free me. Let me help you. I'll tell you anything, everything. Echo. Will you? Swear it, Skull. Swear you will serve me until the end days, or here you will remain. I swear. Just please free me. You watch as Morte sickeningly swallows his pride, almost a tangible thing. I beg you, let me help you, please. Very well, I shall free you. Your vision slides as if you are moving, and the howling, screaming cacophony begins again, a nightmarish horde of howls and catcalls and taunts and insults. The feel of your hands sliding into the filthy quagmire of the pillar, biting of fangs and mandibles, and your hands locking around the tiny skull, ripping, tearing it from the pillar like an old scab. It's done. You look down at the bloody skull in your scarred hands, its eyes covered in ichor from the pillar, and its teeth chatter once, twice. It reminds you of a wailing newborn helpless, and in the eyes of the man you once were. Pathetic. I have freed you. Now your life and your death is mine, Morte. Your vision swirls in the mist of the path drifting away, and Morte is still chattering on. We talked for a while, Chief, you and me, seeing whether the arrangement would work, and I think we both were really impressed with each other. So you invited me off the pillar, and I've kind of been with you ever since. What happened then? Well, I didn't know I'd lose most of the pillar's knowledge once I was out of it. I mean, how was I to know? I'd never been off the damn thing, but you were pretty understanding about it. You lost all the knowledge you said you had. Your vision swirls again, making you dizzy, and you feel your gut churn. You hear the cracking, snapping of bone, and Morte's howling in pain, screaming for someone to stop killing him. And your hand lashing out again and again, and damn you, Skull, you lied to me. I'll thrust you back in that damnable pillar and leave you to die there. There's the clatter of bone against what sounds like metal, a floor or wall, and the skittering of teeth knocked free. You can hear Morte mewing like a beaten dog for you to know that your suffering on the pillar will be nothing to the torment I will make you suffer. Your vision swirls and Morte's cries ebb, fading into his chattering rhythm. So you realized I still had my uses, so I took up with you, and I've been with you ever since. Morte, what did I want from the pillar, and how long ago was it that I freed you? Morte thinks for a moment. Well, as for how long, I don't know the exact count, Chief. Ages, I suppose. I've done all I could to help you each time, but Morte sighs. It's not easy, and as for what you wanted at the pillar, I don't know. Once you pried me off, I couldn't remember. Morte, why didn't you say something when we were at the mortuary? Morte suddenly becomes defensive. Because I never know who you're going to be. Some of your incarnations have been stark raving mad. One time you awoke obsessed with the idea that I was your skull and chased me around the spire trying to shatter and devour me. Luckily you were crushed by a passing cart in the street. Another good and lawful you tried to thrust me back into the pillar because it's where I belong. Morte smirks. That's why. Besides, no harm's ever come of you not knowing. So you stayed with me all this time? Well, yeah, Chief, I said I would. Morte always keeps his promises. Pauses. Well, most of them. There was for this one chit on the Arborea who... You suddenly realize that Morte's tone has changed. Past the joke, you realize he's trying to hide something. Something about why he's with you. Morte, seriously. Morte, seriously. Why are you still traveling with me? Chief, I said it's because I promised, alright? He looks irritated. What else could it be? I don't know. You didn't need to stick around after I freed you. Well, of course not, Chief, but Suddenly, his tone of voice strikes a chord in you, and you don't know why. And you know why he's remained with you all this time. You feel guilty, because you led me to my death so long ago, isn't it? And you've been suffering ever since. Ah, come on, Chief. Me? Feel guilty? I'm Morte. No, I think that's it. When I came to free you from the fate you deserved, you couldn't help but try and help me. And when you could have left after I freed you, you remained, because you felt indebted. Morte is silent for a moment, looking at you. Maybe. You know what's funny? At first, I don't know what the feeling was. It kind of slowly eats at you, you know. I mean, at first, I thought it was a side effect of some enchantment that bound me to you. But after a couple of 100 years, I realized there was more than that. Something deeper. I just felt drawn, connected to you somehow. Maybe it's all your suffering, Chief, your torment. I don't know. Maybe I felt, I don't know, responsible for whatever it is I did. What if something I did brought you to this state? Thing is, I don't think me or whoever I was really ever had to see the consequences of all the lying and cheating I'd done. And when I saw you for the first time, when I was trapped on the pillar, somehow I knew that you were the one I'd betrayed once, long ago. Morte's eyes. That's all I know. I see. Thanks for coming clean, Morte.
Updated my journal.
Wow. Jesus Christ. What's going on here? +4 strength. +2 constitution. +2. +4 strength, +2 constitution, +2 dex. Nah, don't thank me. Morte's size, and to your surprise, his voice seems stronger somehow, more confident. Some of the cracks and the fractures in his skull have vanished, as if healed. Nah, the thanks is all to you. I feel like I just had a plane moved off my shoulders, so to speak. I had some other questions. Do you know about the night hag, Brothel? Well, she's a night hag, and she was definitely barmy enough to make you immortal of all people. I mean, she could have chosen me. Yeah.
You know, I've learned some new tricks.
We're leveling up. We are leveling up, and Morte, what happened to you? I don't remember what Morte's strength and stats were before, actually. But I think it was Morte leveled up. Yeah, my stats are the same. So Morte got an upgrade, definitely. Current state. Activated some AI. I think. Combat scripts. That's why Fall from Grace was healing us. Never used that before. Okay, so we got a lot of information there at once. But I guess now we should get over to the Civic Festival.
I'm gone.
And see if we can complete some of these quests and
All right.
talk to Silent Girl.